here and now. That's it. You want to improve? You want to get better? You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet? You want to start a business? Where do you start? You start right here.
You're the captain, you're the master, you're the foreman, you're the general, you're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody. You can protect yourself from negativity. And that's what stops most people, negative thoughts. You can coat your mind from negativity.
Pick up your damn suffering and bear it. Try to be a good person so you don't make it worse.
The question I'm going to ask you right now, as we talk about becoming the greatest you, is what's going to be your reason? What's the reason when hard times hit your life, you keep going? What's the reason when everybody calls you stupid for believing in big dreams that you're going to ignore those opinions and keep going to achieve more in your life?
And you were made to do something great with your life, weren't you? And you've always known it. There's always been this little voice in your head since you were a little boy or a little girl. You've always known there was something special about you. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to have a mediocre existence on this earth. You were born to do something great.
See, we don't have the courage, and that's what it takes, courage. It takes guts to do that which you know you need to do. If you don't have the courage to act, life many times will move on you and make you act. You will be so miserable, you will get so much hell, you say, yes, I will do it.
You start right now. You initiate the action aggressively. You go. Because the idea isn't going to execute itself. And the book isn't going to write itself. And the weights out in the gym, they're not going to move themselves. You have to do it, and you have to do it now.
Let's go. Good morning, family. Rise and shine. Another blessed and grateful morning. I guess the universe didn't want to have you guys hear this message for today. Literally, I had, those of you that know me, I have like 35 tabs that are literally always on my Google Chrome. And I had to shut down my laptop. I literally lost all my tabs. I'm freaking out right now. I hope they come back after this call. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and dive into today, right? This is always a part of the journey, right? The test always comes. So let's go ahead and dive into it today. We are going to be talking about how dangerous you become when you actually step into the true discipline, when you step into the attitude, when you step into the energy and frequency that is really deep down, that we might have to just wipe some of the dirt off. We might have just to ignite the fire. But when we really wake up the beast inside, now you're going to understand the true power of really becoming dangerous. So let's go ahead and dive into today. What are you grateful for? Grateful for God, grateful to be healthy, grateful to be alive, grateful for the dream team, grateful for each of you, grateful for the momentum, grateful for the lessons, the obstacles, everything that is coming in on a daily basis, because we know that these are signposts. These are all ways that we can actually use as a direction to go ahead and keep moving forward, right? No matter what happens, life is happening for us, right? And not just to us. So let's go ahead and get into it. I love it. We are talking about becoming dangerous today, right? And when we got this training this morning, this was such a really interesting concept, because the way that we normally think about dangerous, we think of, this is something that we shouldn't be doing. This is something that we should stay away from. This is something that we shouldn't be near. Well, this is the truth, right? But when you start to actually look at it in a different light, right? So what if we started to look at becoming dangerous when it comes to fear, when it comes to doubt, right? All of these things that we should stay away from that are considered dangerous, we need to become dangerous to those things, okay? Because what happens when you start moving with a little bit less fear, with a little bit less doubt, with a little bit less anxiety throughout their day? You start to attract, you start to actually exude an energy that people like to be around. You start to actually feel what it feels like to actually be in a real vibration of happiness, of joy, and not being stressed out all the time. You know, Sean talks about it. There's two ways that we're either frustrated about yesterday or we're stressed about the future. So how can we truly be present in the now if we're worried with all of these feelings that we don't even need to be feeling? So a couple of different things that we talked about today that really, made us think a little bit different. So number one, if you were to think about going out to an ocean, right? If we go out to an ocean and somebody had a spoon, somebody had a bucket, and somebody had a way where they could actually scoop out miles of the ocean. Imagine this as gratitude. Imagine this as your discipline. Imagine this as your joy. And every day we have the opportunity to go ahead and choose how much we want to go ahead and implement this into our life, right? Every day is a decision. We can go ahead and take a spoonful, we can take a bucketful, or we can take miles worth out of the ocean to go ahead and start utilizing this. So this is big to understand, because the difference with a lot of people, what he talked about, is most don't pursue ambitious goals only because they have a small frying pan, right? And what does this mean? We'll only go as far as our level of belief. So when you can start to visualize what does yourself look like when you truly start to understand the skill set of trading. When your e-commerce dropshipping store is getting ka-chings on a daily basis, right? How good do you feel? What kind of energy do you have? What kind of confidence do you start to walk with now? You start to look at life with a whole different lens, a whole different perspective, because you know what you can truly achieve. But the reason why a lot of us don't end up taking the action is because of the belief. It's hard to take a lot of action if you don't believe you're going to make it, if you don't believe you're going to win your trades, if you don't believe you're going to be successful in whatever new venture that you're diving in and learning. So it starts one step at a time. So getting into one step at a time when we're diving into a new journey, and it seems like there's so many things that we have to do. The visual that we got this morning painted the picture so beautifully, because it really makes us understand that every little step counts. It's so easy, inside of our entrepreneurship journey, day in and day out, for years, been taking notes, been reading the books, right? Been getting on calls. And some people are like, it's so repetitive. How are you still doing that years later? Well, I want to go ahead and paint you the visual that we got this morning so you can understand that every step counts, right? Every extra rep counts, right? It compounds. So here's the story. Here's the visual. There's a man that gets up and he goes to the beach every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. This old man, he's like 70 years old. And he goes and he actually, because there's all these starfish that have ended up getting washed up on the beach, thousands. So every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, he would go for the sunrise, and he would go and he would pick up these starfish individually, or maybe one in each hand, and he would go and he would put them back in the ocean. Well, there was runners that was going by, and one day the runner finally stopped and asked, he said, why are you taking the time to go ahead and put these starfish in the ocean? You're never going to be able to touch and impact all of them. He said, well, you don't understand. My goal, you're right. I may never be able to touch, impact, and leave an imprint on every single one that's right here on the beach. But you know what I can do? I can be the best that I can be. I can do the best that I can do. And I know, even one by one, my impact is making a difference. Because every starfish that I did impact, that I did bring back to the world to save their life, that's one more starfish that I helped into the world. So what if you thought about your disciplines like that? What if you thought about the love that you gave on a daily basis like that? What if we thought all of the activities in that light? You might see going to the gym this week as useless because you don't see the progress on the scale a week later, but you don't understand the compound effect of what that's actually doing. You see, if that runner were to come back a month later, he would see the huge dent that he actually put into the beach. But because he only saw it on a small time frame, it looked like his impact didn't make any difference at all. So the same thing goes with our life. Every day that you guys get on these trading sessions, every day that we go ahead and show up, every day that we go and ask questions and we call our mentor and we stay around the fire, you're making more of a difference, more of an impact than you'll ever even know. So don't underestimate the power of one step, the power of one action, the power of even doing one activity daily on a consistent basis. Why do you think, you've seen quantum leaps even from somebody like Neno in a matter of 14 days? In a matter of 14 days, those last 4 days, he did, in 4 days, what would have taken somebody else maybe a month, 2 or 3 months. People always say, well, how did it happen? It was the little things that ended up creating the bigger picture that most don't understand. So this is big, so important. You become dangerous when you start to get disciplined in your daily habits, your thoughts, your actions. So let's go ahead and dive a little bit further, right? Let's talk about attitude. We went over attitude this morning, and it was so great because it made us think about our childhood self. So if we were to think about our childhood self, think about whenever you were in the store and you didn't get something that you wanted. How certain were you that you wanted that thing? And how upset were you when you didn't get it? Right? We've all been there. We've definitely been in this situation. But what do you think happens when we actually go into relationships? What do you think happens when we actually start looking for more money, more streams of income, and relationships get formed? The same things start to happen over and over again, right? Oh Lord, my poor dad. So you start to really realize that our attitude, we were so certain as a child about what it is that we wanted, but when it came to success getting older, when it came to our goals, when it came to our visions, we lost that sense of urgency. We lost that sense of belief. We lost that sense of energy for going after what it is that we want, no matter what anybody said. Don't get that. You're not getting that today. I want it. I need it. You had such a level of certainty that somewhere along the way, a lot of us, it tends to fade away. So this is big. So when it comes to certainty, let's take it a step further with another visual that we got from this morning, right? From our mentor. This is big. So think about, one time that you went on a plane, one time that you actually bought tickets to go to a movie, and you get on the plane, and you. I'm not gonna lie, I've had some pretty crazy situations on a plane, right? I've gotten sat next to somebody who was completely sick. They were sneezing the whole time. I'm just like, I just paid all of this money, right, to get a better seat, and I just landed, in front of somebody where I could potentially end up being sick, and it could have made the whole ride miserable, but it didn't take away from me actually getting to my destination, right? So how many times have we actually wanted to go somewhere, but something didn't go our way as planned? And it ruined the energy, and it ruined the whole experience of getting to where we want to go. So many times, right? If you think about a movie, what happens? We were so excited to go see the movie, then we finally sit down and somebody's obstructing our vision. The same thing happens in life. How many times are we so excited that we end up running at something, doing something new like trading or starting e-commerce, and the people around you, they're obstructing your vision. They're telling you it's not going to work. They're telling you you're wasting all of your time. Well, all we had to do was switch seats in the movie theater. All we had to do was move over. And now we can see the vision clearly. Now we can see the screen perfect. So this is what I had to realize in my life. I had so many people obstructing my vision, telling me it wasn't going to work. Things were getting foggy. I started to believe their lies for me. So you know what I had to do? I just had to switch seats. I just had to move over a little bit. I just had to really take some time for myself. And guess what? The fog was gone. I took out the trash. I could see the screen clearly. It didn't matter how much noise was to the left of me, because why? I removed the obstruction from my vision. And guess what? I got that attitude back just like as a child. I started to get the certainty. I started to get excited. I started to become aware that everything I was doing on a daily basis was getting me one step further. So while everybody else around me, they saw failure, they saw